Welcome to Doozer Shop. This evening I'd like to talk about furniture. Now in this drawer is table furniture for the machine. For the table of the machine. We got studs and some bolts and T-nuts. Well, there's my T-nuts. Washers, thick washers, clamps, strap clamps, step blocks, some rocker arm type clamps, more strap clamps, more rocker arm, spacers. There's kind of a cool one. And just all kinds of accessories for the mill table or any table, planer table, drill press table, whatever. So this is table furniture. That's the floor. Let's talk about floor furniture, okay? Now, the fact that this is in a file cabinet, I mean that's floor furniture for the shop, shop furniture. A lot of times, my bag for garbage. A lot of times they have these little metal shop tables. Got my broom, got my dustpan, got some auto parts stuff, and those are nice. They're just 18 by 24 shop tables, and I just got a piece of pine on top and got my fridge. But all this stuff's in the background. I just never talk about it. So these are C-size blueprint drawers, stack files, and on both sides I've got these pull-out drawers from a bank. They're index card files. Soon kids aren't going to know what an index card is. But anyways, and I've got these wood countertops in between. They're actually fastened to the table with 2-inch angle iron brackets. And I've got another stack, another countertop. Those are like 55 inches, 50 inches, something like that. And there's actually angle iron brackets bolted to the sides of the cabinet. And more C-size ball bearing flat file cabinets. And on top I've got these are Kennedy kits, right? For taps and dies and everything. These are just some generic pull-out drawers. Equipto made them. I've got a Gerstner, I've got some open pull-out drawers, and they got crimp connectors and car fuses and light bulbs for turn signals, and got these little pull-out, got end mills, got little ones, and these are my Allen screws mostly set screws. But you can see I got all kinds of furniture. These are like presenter trays for presenting parts that you can, scoop them out with your fingertips. All kinds of furniture. Just furniture. Like I got chemicals in here, right? Automotive sealants and, pipe dope, anti-seize, special greases, and whatever. Drill bits. I don't even remember if I actually have, yes, I do have drill bits in here. And, the Gerstner box. But, wanted to show you guys today, let's go in the high bay. Oh, Vidmar? Vidmar cabinets. You know I keep tools in there. The welding bench is, that's a folded steel top bolted to these orange angle iron legs. And I got drawers I've collected from, you know, wherever. And here's some kind of a cash box I bolted using a piece of angle iron. And I got my brazing goggles. I think this is extra sweat pads for the welding helmets and different stuff. And these are really cheap, you know, bulk, stick 'em stuff in the drawers. I don't even know what's in here. These are gloves, right? I mean, they're great for bulk stuff, right? I got all kinds of leather gloves in here. And actually, these are ball bearing. These are pretty nice. And you know my my giant cabinet. This is actually an electrical cabinet. This is got a bunch of tooling in it. So furniture, okay. And then, you know, a Kennedy box on top. This is a lion, right? And you guys know what I got in here. You know, just general pliers and screwdrivers. And then this is the automotive stuff, wrenches, and I mean, you know what that is. Furniture is the topic of today. So, I don't have much furniture in here. Yeah, I do. This is the table. So this is a restaurant prep table. This is stainless steel top. And the legs are actually just, I think they're galvanized steel and a stainless steel bottom. And I remember in another video I showed you guys these drill bit storage units. I cut them in half. This was the top, that was the bottom, and I mounted them to the wall using galvanized brackets, and I, you know, just cut it. Got my old lamp here. It's like 1910 OC white lamp. These go on eBay for like 600 bucks. It's freaking crazy. Furniture, wall decorations. But all kinds of stuff, little step ladders. I mean, you just gotta have it. Oh, this is what I wanted to mention also. Heavy duty shelving. These are Pollard. I think I did a video on this Pollard shelf, so I'm not gonna go into it. Carts, I guess, are mobile furniture. That's a nice heavy duty one, the white one, and I put new swivel casters on it. I think those are Harbor Freight. Oh, I'm so proud of this. I want to show you guys. For the grinding wheel, this is a wrench. And what I did is I kind of customized it. I cut it off and I welded on this breaker bar that the head snapped. And I TIG welded it on, and for filler I used the stainless steel strips you can salvage out of old windshield wiper blades as filler. Not the greatest weld, but not terrible for not caring. But you know, that'll go in there, and man, it's got a nice heft to it. And the reason it's offset is for if you've got a dish wheel or a cup wheel or a saucer wheel, you know, it reaches in. You know, you can't see the hub nut, but I mean, you know what it looks like. But that's cool. I'm really proud of this, and it was like a 5-minute, 10-minute job. And the deal is, I broke this when I was like 18 years old. I broke the the breaker bar, and I'm not prepared. But anyways, this is where it's from. This Fleet toolkit. This is where it's from. Now I broke this one. This one's a replacement I got on eBay, and you can see, you know, the piece came off, and you know that broke off, right? It just freaking snapped. But I broke this when I was, like I said, probably 16, 18 years old. And then I finally found another on eBay to replace it. And this is Fleet tools. Fleet were never that expensive, but my grandfather gave me these tools. Before he died, he set aside a whole bunch of tools for me. And these were wrapped up in plastic when I first got them. But anyways, I thought it was kind of neat that I saved this wrench handle forever, and I made a nice usable spanner wrench for the grinder to change the grinding wheels. So I know it's random, but I wanted to show that in a video. And now back to the furniture. And I've got stools, you know, ladders, step ladders, stools, office chairs. Man, chilling out with in a chair. Sometimes you got to take a break. You know, just really neat, I find. And this is kind of not furniture, but it is. This angle iron was all welded up. God, I can't show you because it's just, it's like a square and a square, like a box thing, and it was in the dumpster, and I put my bars in there. All right, furniture. Oh, well, there's a point to all this. Pigeonhole cabinet, and my surface plate is on. This is an old wood pallet with the feet taken off. So the top is an oak pallet with a metal rim, and the bottom was a custom-made cart on wheels for something, right? This is a Hamilton. It's like 25 drawers, and I keep my steel in here and stuff. And got me back up. My open cabinet of automotive chemicals. And you know, more chairs. Just a drafting stool and this is a secretary chair, a typing chair. The typewriter used to go on a little wing off the side of the desk, and the secretaries would sit lower and just type. I got a riser, a wood riser for the controls to get up on the table. It's just nice to have a riser. And I've showed this before. This is a table that straddles the big motor for the planer, right? For the planer. I know it's cramped in here, it's hard to see. So anyways, but the reason I started wanting to do this video, oh, well, let's keep going. That's a radio transmitter that I gutted and put shelves in it. That gray thing, and then I got a microwave on top. A splayed leg stand. Splayed leg stands are great. They're very stable. The splayed leg, how it's angled. And my grinder's on a cast iron mixer base that used to be a mixer for mixing flour. I mean, like a kitchen mixer for an industrial situation. But anyways, let me sneak around. And furniture. Furniture is the topic. Furniture. Various pieces of furniture. That big old vise. That thing is heavy. That white base. That's 2x2 by 1/4 inch tubing. A giant 30-horse motor used to sit on that at one of the grain elevators in Buffalo. So that's stout stand for my vise. And this thing's on wheels. This is like, it was in the paint department at work and they threw it out. Kind of a light duty roll around thing. Well, it's actually kind of heavy duty. And it's got engine gaskets for my truck, and oh, there's a gearbox for the Gorton, and just everything. But I know I go around the world for a shortcut. One of the things I wanted to show you is the furniture that I've completed today. Okay, now this, I gotta back up, beep, beep, beep. Okay, now this is kind of a cheapie, not very heavy duty. This is just a shop table. It started out as 18 inches by 24 inches. And I cut it down to 18 inches by 16 inches. It used to be 24, now it's 16. I thought about making it square, 18 by 18, but I don't know why. I just kind of, 16 by 18 seemed to fit. Now, let me back up again. I keep... So, all right, more furniture. Those yellow legs are cast iron legs on a butcher block maple top. And these are just wooden drawer cubbies without the drawers for my steel. And of course, stackable metal bins. But this is the corner I come around, you know, by the grinder and the drill press and the mighty 8520 closing port. But coming around here, you can see the greasy floors where I walk, and the big drill press. Sorry, you know, this corner coming around, it was there's the belt cover and the change gears for the Colchester lathe. There's the motor, and it's just like it stuck too far out into the aisleway. And you know, another thing, this big cable, this is the reversing switch. So we got the contactor, the black liquid tight conduit goes to that reversing switch, and then from the reversing switch it goes down into the pecker head of the motor. And it's just pretty tight. And that liquid tight conduit, that's kind of why I cut this thing down. Not only to maintain an aisleway, that ladder doesn't belong there, that chip shield doesn't belong there, but you know, you kind of come around, and it was just too big. Okay, so like I said, this was 1.5 feet by 2 foot. Now it's 1.5 feet by 16 inches. So what I did is I cut the table off here. Okay, and you can see how it's made. It's a really cheap jobby. The corners are folded in, and they got these three-fold legs, and they're just bolted in. So what I did is I cut it and folded it. I broke the edge, hammered it over a piece of steel, nothing fancy, and I remade the edge. Right, my knee's cracking. So this used to be the top. This rusty top. This was the top, and I broke this edge over, and I refolded the corners. Right, you can kind of see, you know. And you know, it's pretty straight. And I refolded the corners and just put the bolts back in. But like I said, this was the top, and now it's folded over on the side. So basically, I cut it 18 inches, and with 2-inch flange, it's back to 16 inches. And I knew that. I could, if I wanted it 18 by 18, I would have made it, you know, 20 and then folded the 2-inch edge. And then the bottom, you know, I had to cut these side things, right? This isn't a full top, right? It's just a, what do you call them? Braces, blocking. You know, it without the OSB on here, it's just open. And then you got adjustable legs. But this is pretty cool. You get up. So you make a noise when you get up when you get a certain age. But that's, you know, matches my chip tray. It just fills in this space. And I put in a couple hours to this, I'm not going to lie. But it was sort of a recreational couple of hours. It was about 3 hours, actually. I had a little bit of something on my mind, and I didn't want to get involved in a thinking project like precision machining. Like that tailstock was a very involved thinking project. I had to be calm and concentrate when I worked on that. But this thing was sort of a loose tolerance deal because it's just fabrication and welding tolerance. But I'm super happy cutting this down, right? Because I need some place for the chucks, right? I got the 3-jaw, I got the 4-jaw. Oh, I didn't show you guys. I put the jaws in, and looks pretty nice. And I got the, you know, I got the serial number. You probably can't see it. I don't know. It's there. And I gave it to Handyman, James McDermott, and I think he's in Arizona. And he gave me the order sheet, the build sheet with this. And it says it came with a 3-jaw, a 6-inch 3-jaw, and an 8-inch 4-jaw, and that's exactly what I have. And it also said it came with a, I think he said it said, the sheet said a 2J collet system with a Sjogren closer. I'm going to do 5C collets, you know. But so that's kind of neat that I got. I'm putting it back with the original accessories, you know. So yeah, it's just making a video to show you my table, you know. Let's show you one more. Like I said, those are just wood drawers that I just got rid of the drawers, and I use it for metal stowage. And you know, my Craftsman toolbox, I had that when I was a kid. And this thing's pretty cool. So that thing is like 11, I think it's 11 or 12 inches. And I like it because it's narrow, and being only like 11 or 12 inches, it's tight to the wall. And I got chucks on there. It's actually 3 shelves. There's a bottom, a middle, and a top. Out of a factory. It's clean, you know, for pressure washing it clean, but it's still got the old paint scratches on it. I love it. And it's so nice, you know. I'm up against the window here with the mighty Brown & Sharp 13 grinder, and as you can see, it tucks in there rather nicely. And I got a couple of these more. I got a couple more of these. I got to put them up. Just shelving that screws to the wall. These are just bent aluminum covers. I think they were for keeping the glare off of a parking lot lamp. And they're like a great little shelf, right? There's a shelf on my parts washer that I keep my my brushes and my oil stones in. you know, I just shop furniture, man. There's another stool, a drafting stool, kind of a cheapie, and another cheapie cart. I think I had 2 carts. One was kind of half demolished, and I took the and I added a shelf from the demolished cart. And these white things are just pieces of 1/4-inch plywood, just to give it some stiffness, because this is truly a sheet metal cart. It's just really... And, you know, I think they were throwing this stool out because the welds that hold the ring to the legs were broken. So I brazed them with bronze. I don't know, I wanted to braze it just because I wanted to. And I got rags and gloves and milk crates full of stuff. There's my friend Steve gave me this roll-around cart. And it's a squatty little thing. And he had like engine blocks. He used it for running engine blocks around his shop. And the whole thing was crooked. It was welded like a parallelogram. It was kind of twisted. So I put it in the press and I twisted it straight again. So now it used to teeter on the wheels, and now it's nice and straight. And that goes underneath the chip pan of the Colchester. It goes all the way underneath there. So I got rags underneath it, and I just put little tools and just junk on it. And I know I showed you this before. I made this is like, had something to do with a bar feeder on a lathe, a CNC lathe. But it's an adjustable height table, and it's just a weird little dude. It had brackets on it, and I just happened to have a scrap 4x4 that I cut up and used because the brackets are so tall. And you don't need anything as strong as this, but, you know. Piece of pine on top. I had a piece of extra pine from my shop. But furniture, man, you know, just... It's so necessary is furniture, and more of these blue, you know, it's the Kara Wilson press. I showed this in a video. Furniture is so important. Here's a drawer out of a cabinet that I use to set, you know, on the Giddings and Lewis here. Boring mill. And it's not going to scratch it because it's wood, but I needed some place for my oil cans, you know? So, yeah, let's just show you real quick the remnants of... Yeah, I was here and I didn't even talk about it. I was showing you guys the wrench. Here's the bottom pieces from the lower shelf. I cut them off and reformed the ends. And then this is the table piece I cut off, right? That's the, and that's what the corners looked like. And I just rebent them to suit. They actually spot welded a piece in there. But yeah, and I just cut it off with the angle grinder. Ah! Yeah, awesome video skills, Doozer. So... But yeah, that's what I did today. Is I cut that down and refolded the edge. So anyhow, all right. Well, that's about it. I'm glad you came along with me, and the topic of tonight was furniture and my cool little table I cut down. Thanks for hanging out with me. Until next time, this is Doozer Shop.